Hey guys, Joe Whitney here. I've been showing off my brew setup, but I have a few tips and tricks for you guys to kind of make life a little easier as you're doing this. So again, I'll do a write-up. I'll include the drill bit sizes, links to where I bought stuff. It's unaffiliated, I don't care. I don't get any credit, but I want to show you guys how to make an affordable brew setup, home brew setup. I say affordable, I mean probably all in $600, but I think it's going to last a while, so I'm very happy about that. I have my propane burner down there. You just get a regular propane burner, especially if you're doing 5-gallon batches. Quick tip here. If you're doing more than a 5-gallon batch, you're going to want to get the, I believe it's like 200 and 200,000 BTU propane burners. Because if you're using the 65,000 BTU propane burner, it's not going to give you enough heat. It's going to take forever to boil. So the $200,000 propane burner, BTU propane burner, it's probably, I don't know, an extra $20 maybe. It'll do you good in the end. It'll make your process a lot easier. Quick tip number 2. So this kettle, this gas one boil kettle that I have here, it's nice and it's outfitted with a thermometer. Although I probably wouldn't have gone with this, and it's got a nice spigot, but I could have put this on anything. That said, if you're just starting out, or maybe you're looking at doing bigger batches, I highly recommend getting your hands on a 15.5 gallon keg, using an angle grinder to cut out the top. That steel is much thicker and it's going to last you a long time. It's industrial strength pretty much, and it seems to hold up a lot longer. This setup, it's a lot more garage friendly for me. Smaller batches, it'll work just fine. Plus, I'm moving my refrigerator down here, so I'll be a kegerator setup. Next quick tip. So earlier in a video, I showed you guys these handy dandy little connections that go on here. Well, if you have some extra of the 3/8 inside diameter, 1/2 inch outside diameter vinyl tubing, save it. So I'll be transferring to kegs. I'll probably cut this off at about 1.5 feet, whatever the height of this bench, or I have a stainless steel prep table that I'll be moving down here as well. Whatever the height of that is to the top of the keg, maybe just a few inches in. I'll use, but all you got to do is slip it on. Makes life a lot easier. You don't have to sit there and hold the keg to do it. If you're bottling beer bottles, I recommend just setting this on the edge and just filling it one by one. I'd like to have a 5-gallon bucket or something underneath, so any extra falls right in. Or it's best to do it outside, and hopefully the beer is good for your yard. Next quick tip, sanitizer, right? So there's a few different kinds you can get. There is Star San, there's One Step, a bunch of million other off brands, all that stuff. I prefer One Step. Star San's great. It's not as cost effective or cost friendly as One Step. Plus, 1 tablespoon of this per gallon. That's pretty great. Star San is probably the most synonymous. It's the Coca-Cola of sanitizing products, but One Step does just as good. It's a little bit more cost effective. Step number 2, instead of just throwing your grain bill inside of the mash tun. So I've got these coolers that I've got 2 of them. One's going to be my mash tun. Instead of just throwing the grain bill in there and hoping for the best, whenever you're draining it out, it can be kind of problematic. Yeah, you could use a bazooka tube, all that sort of stuff, but I definitely recommend brew bags. So these are like $10 for 2 or something. They're not that bad. Essentially, and they're washable. Just when you're done, throw it in the hot wash or something. Rinse it out. Probably don't use any detergents, but that'll be the best way to clean it. But all you have to do is fill this with your grain. I usually like to wrap it around the cooler, although these coolers are pretty thick, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I may have to rig something up, but again, if you do this, just make sure you've got one that's wide enough for the mouth of whatever it's going on. Save you a lot of headache later and having to clean and strain your beer. I know hazy IPAs and all that stuff have become a thing, but yeah, it doesn't mean you want it all the time, and it's not the right kind of sediment because it doesn't actually get absorbed into the into the beer evenly. It'll just sit on the bottom and yeah. Anyways, so to recap, brew in a bag, save your hose. If you can, go with a steel keg, or if you want bigger batches, those kegs will last you forever. You'll probably never burn through one on the bottom. Even with that 200,000 BTU propane head on it, just kind of size it to your needs. Again, this is going to be perfect for 5-gallon batches. This is coming in about $500, maybe $600. Again, I opted for tanks and gas canisters and quick fittings. You could probably pare this down quite a bit. Again, I'll do this in a write-up so everybody has all of the information on how much it costs, where I got it. Then you'll be able to see if any of the costs changed. Plus, you can pare it down and figure out what's necessary or unnecessary for you. Like, I know a lot of people that might have a mash tun, but they don't have a secondary hot liquor tank. And maybe their boil kettle is just a standard stock pot on their stove, not as fancy as this. A lot of things you can pare down. Must-haves though, wort chiller, mash tun, and I highly recommend having a strainer of some sort for your hops. All right, guys.